Hi boys, so today we're going to be reviewing 86 rated Fantasy FUT Jose Sa. As you can see, I've already played 4 games, all in FUT Champions as well. Now, the first 2 games, I got a 2-0 rage quit in 20 minutes and a 1-0 rage quit in like 5 minutes. So the first 2 games, you won't see them. So we got 2 full matches, intense matches. One of them went to extra time. I'm not going to spoil it if we won or not, but it was absolutely unreal. This man got tested to his limits. Honestly, boys, with goalkeepers, and I've reviewed probably, I'd say, 30 or so goalies throughout the years, and I think one thing with goalies, some goalies are good, some goalies are bad, and even if it is a good goalie will always have his bozo moments, if you will. He'll always be inconsistent. That's goalkeepers this year. But what I define as a good goalkeeper, and if you guys watch my goalie reviews, you know I go by 3 rules. Number 1, diving animations. Different goalies have different diving animations. Some have a default diving animation, but if it's like maybe a more well-known name like a De Gea, he's got his own diving animation. Ramsdale's got his diving animation. Hugo Lloris's got a diving animation. But then you've got the lower tier goalies that maybe have been juiced to a special card, like this Jose Sa, for example, that don't have a diving animation and just have a default one. And the second thing we look at is height, and ideally the perfect height for me is 6'4", and Jose Sa is bang on 6'4", which is perfect. I think 6'5" or 6'6", sometimes when you've got a really tall goalie, like say Courtois for example, you'll notice they kind of flop to the ground. I mean, stretching their legs out and trying to save it with their feet, usually the taller goalies are perfect, but I notice with the taller goalies, their diving animation, they just flop to the floor. The third thing I look at is traits. Ideally, I actually haven't seen his traits. I played the games, but I haven't seen his traits. If I had to guess what traits he's got, I mean, yeah, actually, he's got the comes for crosses, and I was going to say that makes sense, because we conceded a few corners, and he was always very came out for the crosses, or crosses in general. Doesn't have to be a corner if your opponent crosses it in. Jose Sa will push out. I did notice he didn't have a saves with feet trait, and also he didn't have the sweeper keeper trait. That's 2 things I definitely know he didn't have, and 2 things that I wouldn't mind if he did have, especially the saves with feet. I think being 6'4", and if you were to have a saves with feet trait, it would have been absolutely perfect. Now, obviously, we'll put him on the bench, but how we did play in game is this. We had Tomiyasu, ignore the red card, but in game with a basic chemistry style on him, he goes to 93 diving, 90 handling, 75 kicking, 95 reflexes with 90 positioning. All in all, I mean, he looks really good, with stats, but as I said, with keepers, they could be 99 in everything and then be piss poor in game. Jose Sa, lads, let's get into the highlights. So, hopping into the highlights, lads, as I said, the first couple games, we won 2-0 and 1-0 rage quit, so we've got 2 full games here with him to show, and I'm not going to lie, boys, there was a lot involved. As you can see, at this point, we're 1-1 up. We bring Jose Sa out. My opponent bottled the chance, but Jose Sa is indeed fast enough to get it, and we do indeed get it out. So his first involvement for me, I mean, not too bad. I do think one thing I noticed with his card, his diving animation, he didn't have a crazy diving animation, but his reflexes, phenomenal. His reflexes were absolutely unreal, and to be honest, one of the best things about this card. As you can see, at this point, it is 2-2. My opponent is having an attack, and boom, what a save. That's the reflexes I was talking about. And as you can see, boys, the 92nd minute, Lucas Torreira, we've done it, boys. The first game, Jose Sa, he only had a couple saves to make, but that save you guys just saw before could be one of the biggest, most important saves of the whole entire FUT Champ session I had today. I played like 4 or 5 games, and that was just simply unbelievable. Now, hopping into the next game, my opponent having an attack straight away, and once again, that was a brilliant dive from Jose Sa. As I said, the reach he's got, along with the diving, reflexes, and reach of 6'4", is just honestly absolutely perfect with him. I could not ask for anything better. I would say if there was one thing I could ask to make this card that much better, he was already insane, by the way, but maybe if he had some extra traits, maybe a saves with feet trait, and I think this goalie could be one of the best in the game. As you can see, once again, there, an area like that, he may be able to catch it, but nonetheless, I won't complain. Better safe than sorry. And we face a free kick from Cristiano Ronaldo. And let's be real, lads, no keeper in the whole game is saving that. That is an absolutely phenomenal free kick, and that does indeed put my opponent 1-0 up. And I had a red card as well. That's a red card Tomiyasu had in the beginning. Jose Sa, once again, making another brilliant save, and that is the reflexes. Now, at this point, boys, it is 1-1, and obviously I was a man down, and from this point onwards, you are going to see some absolute magic from Jose Sa. Until we get into extra time, he had a little bit of a bozo moment, but once again, another great save. save. I think he had 8 saves for this match, by the way, which is absolutely ridiculous. Once again, 6'4", showcasing that the height is perfect, rushing him out. He won't be chipped too much. I do think, like, as I said, the amount of links this card gets as well is really good. He gets that strong, and that's a bozo moment I was talking about, by the way, lads. Got sidetracked there. At this point, we were 3-1 up in extra time. We gave it away. We had 15 minutes to hold off 2 goals, and my opponent makes it 3-3. He scored 2 goals within 5 minutes. I completely bottled it. And at this point, I'm like, oh god, I'm just going to lose this. And Jose Sa, no. He has got other plans on his mind. It is currently 3-3 for 112th minute. We were 3-1 up going into the second half of extra time, and then we completely bottled it. And I do think Jose Sa, I mean, with that deflected shot, it was just really unlucky, and I feel like it was a little bit suspicious on EA's part. Like, maybe, I don't know, tell me, lads, do you think that's Jose Sa's fault, or do you genuinely think that it was just EA scripting? But nonetheless, boys, we did get the winner through Mkhitaryan, and we managed to clinch the win. What a game. 1-1 into extra time. I went 3-1 up, I bolted it to 3-3, and then boom, we score the winner. But all in all, lads, I was actually really impressed with this Jose Sa card. I think if there is like one thing that I really like about him the most, it is 100% his reflexes, and it makes sense. He's got 90 base reflexes. His diving was solid. We didn't see too much of his diving. His 85 handling, it was, you know, standard. It did the job. I do think there was actually a couple scenarios, instead of maybe tipping it out, he maybe could have, you know, held the ball, or caught the ball, I should say. But all in all, I really cannot complain. We played 4 FUT Champs games today. We won them all. Obviously, the first 2, they were like 5-minute rage quits, both of them. Jose Sa didn't even touch the ball. And in the other 2, Jose Sa got involved. He made 1 mistake across those 2 games. And dare I say it was a mistake. It was that goal you guys saw. It was a deflect. It came off my defender from an original Ronaldo shot. And it just snuck into the bottom corner. I feel like if you believe in EA scripting or not, I feel like it was a little bit too suspicious, if you will. I genuinely don't think any keeper would have saved that. It was just one of those situations. Very unfortunate timing. But no, as for pros, we are going to say 6'4". I think his height is absolutely perfect. Not too tall that he just flops to the ground, but he is tall enough that his reflexes and his reach is absolutely phenomenal. We're also going to say his 88 diving, and I say 88 diving. His diving, as I said, was solid. We're going to say his 90 reflexes as well. The reflexes were 100% the best thing to write home about. Honestly, there is no cons. I'm not going to count 85 positioning or 85 handling as a pro, because it's not a pro, nor is it a con. It's just standard for a keeper. But I do think his diving and reflexes and height definitely stood out. Now, for cons, there is no cons at all. I think 50 speed is good enough for a goalie, and as well, I'll have a few people saying, is the 70 kicking very poor? I think if you don't want the 70 kicking, you could always chuck a wall on him. A wall chemistry style gives him a +10 diving, a +10 handling, and like a +10 kicking, I believe. So he'll go to like 98 diving, 95 handling, and 80 kicking. And obviously his reflexes will remain 90. Obviously his speed and positioning won't get a boost, but I do think sticking with the basic is just the safest option to go for a keeper. Then if you do find down the line that his kicking is an issue, then you go ahead and apply a different chemistry style on him. But no, I mean, forward links, we've gone for a Team of the Year Ruben Dias. Obviously that doesn't have to be the Team of the Year version. The signature signings version works just as well. All in all, I'm going to give this card a 9.2 out of 10. I thought he was a brilliant goalie, very cheap as well, and he has potential to get up to a +3 rating. Playing for Wolves, I think he'll easily get it. This card has a relatively high chance of going to 89 rated. For 20,000 coins, what a goalie and what a price.